Welcome back to the Qt Developer. The last we left off, we created the definitions. Now it's time to implement them. So in the constructor, there's a very important line. The line I need to use is this initialization. I need to initialize the OpenGL functions, which is all this stuff here. All of these methods need to be initialized. When they're initialized, then I can use them. The next thing I need to do is I need to clear the context window. So this will give it a color to clear, and then I'll clear the buffer bit. I'm now going to just hard code some vertices for the triangle. Now that the vertices are hard coded for testing, I'm now going to go ahead and create the buffer ID. Create the gen buffers, bind those buffers, create the buffer data, the vertex attribute array, and the vertex attribute pointer. So each one of these will bind all these information right here, these vertices, and I'll be able to use these with my shaders. Now I'll go ahead and create some simple shaders. I'll create a vertex shader and a fragment shader. So here's the shader, one for the vertex, strv, and one for the fragment, strf. This will provide the color, and then this will take my current position from the buffer of verts. Now it's time to use my logger, initialize my logger, connect the logger with the signal, and then assign the shader to the shader program so it sends it to the graphics card, compiles it, and links it. Now I have a few errors right here. Come back to those in a minute. Here's my context, here's my logger, which needs to be initialized. Here's the connection for the logger. And then I want to start logging. I create my shader, and I use the program. So there's a few includes that I've missed. Those includes will come up here. And because I forward declared with these, forward declared, I need to include them inside of my definition file, or my implementation file, I mean. And those errors now, they all go away. In the resize GL, it's really not a whole lot to do. I don't have to worry about that. In my paint GL, I'm going to have to go ahead and draw the array. So I need to draw what's happening on the screen. And I want to draw GL triangles, since I'll be using a triangle. And the first, you look at this method, you see, the mode, the first, and the count. So here's my mode triangle. First index is 0, the count is 3. The next thing I'm going to need to look at, so I'm going to look at my create shader. In the create shader, I'll need a few things. I'll need to create the program. I'll need to assign the vertice and the fragment by compiling. Then I'll need to attach the shaders, link the program, and validate. If there's an error, then it will be sent through to the logger. So here it all is. Here's my program. I'm then going to compile both the fragment and the vertex, providing it with the string of my shader code. Then I attach the shader, link it, validate it, and then once it's all finished, I can go ahead and delete it and return the program. It's now time to compile the shader. So what I'm going to do is I need to get an ID from the shader. I need to get the raw string from the shader, get a shader source, compile the shader. So let's go ahead and do that. So the initial stages are these. This will go ahead and compile the shader, get the string, and get everything moving. The next two things I need to do is I need to go ahead. I need to get a result of what the shader would happen when I try to get the shader. Then I want to check. I want to check to see if the shader's empty. So I'm going to go ahead and check the result, check and see if it's false. If it is false, well, then I need to try again. So if it's false, I need to get the shader, get the info log, match the length. I then want to get the message and then determine why it failed to compile. Then delete my ID and then output the message. Now all of this will be output, and the message logger, which I connected up here, right there, will then give me an output as to what went wrong. And then once I finish all of this, if the shader was successful, meaning it didn't return false, well, then I'll return the ID. Now the debugger right here, this GLM message, well, I need to output what the error message was. Now there's still a few things to do. Now I've actually noticed I made a mistake. This actually needs to go into my initialization method. Good thing I caught that. Did you catch that? I hope you did. So there we go. There's all the code I need.